What's going on, YouTube? Today I'm going to be painting a mini. Not just any mini. It's going to be a roper. So, I have this reference image right here that I should be keeping on screen throughout most of the video, as well as I'm going to have a reference image coming up on screen right now. That image is going to be the main one I'm using for the stoneworks and everything. And then tentacle-wise and mouth and eye, I'm probably going to base off of this one. So starting off, I'm going to use a black base coat. And I'm just going to cover all of the stoneworks in black. And I'm going to go ahead and do base coats over everything else. Just get everything covered. Try to get rid of all the gray areas, excluding the base, because I'm going to want to keep that base whenever I glue on this thing, so that plastic glue can actually stick to it good. But that is something we're doing later. So I'm going to paint everything around here and try to cover up all of the gray, primer, plastic, whatever you want to call it. And from there, we'll go on and go with the rest of the mini. So starting off, just use like any color of black. I'm going to be using Citadel Colors Abaddon Black, just because it's a solid black. It's real dark. I'm not going to have to do an extra coat of black for this. And trust me, it'll make sense later on if you don't see what I'm going to be doing. But since it's also a base coat, I'm just going to use a relatively wide brush. Getting in the bottom of there, getting out some black. Take it somehow. Cover up as much of it as I can. And a little thing about painting minis is you don't necessarily need brushes. You can just go to Walmart and buy a big pack of like 30 or 40 variety brushes, and just you'll have a brush for every little thing you'll need. You get a brush that's like that big, and that'll work good for if you're painting a mini like the size of Tiamat, or just anything of the sort like that. And ignore me having a runny nose. A little sick, and I think that came on last night. Anyways, speed up. So, the fleshy colored stuff, I'm just going to do a ambient crimson from one of the D&D paint sets that I have. It came with the Albert paint. The issue with this is you have to shake it a fuck ton. Like, the way these paints are, you have to shake it a lot because they don't have like the little bead inside like some paints do. Let me grab one. Like this red isn't the same color red I'm wanting, but if you listen, it has a little like BB ball bearing in it. that works like a spray paint can. Alright, for the tentacles, I'm going to start off with just a cloudy gray, do a flat out gray, and do the inverse to what I'm going to do. Yeah, rocky parts. On the rocky parts, I'm going to go over with this gray on the dry brush to give it like detail, give it depth. But on this one, I'm going to go over with the gray and then go over it with a black dry brush. And it'll sort of do highlights because of the shape as well as, I'm not sure how well it shows up. But there's like little ripples or rings basically around the tentacles. Alright, after doing the base coats, we're going to give it time to dry. Make sure everything is solid and dry, because how this is, how painting minis are, sometimes you'll have like little crevices where there'll be a decent amount of paint there and it'll just take a while to like fully dry. So come back. I'll be back in, it'll be 5-ish minutes for me, it'll be instant. Alright. Now what I'm going to do is you can take any old brush, you can take like just a brush that you don't care about, you can take an old makeup brush, and I'm going to dip it in the color I want, and then I'm going to take it, I'm going to take that brush, and I'm just going to wipe off the majority of the paint. Until it gets to about the point I want it, on how heavy of a dry brush I want. And because of the size of this, it's going to be multiple having to do this. Anyway, I'm going to get it to about this point. I'm going to go onto the mini and brush over it. See that on it, the raised up areas are going to paint on it, while the deeper recesses of it are going to keep the original color that I painted on it. Now, in D&D minis that I always do stone having looking something like this. And then I have dungeon tiles that look just like this. So, for the purpose of mine, doing these colors works out just fine. I just ran into an area that's still a little wet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and dip this into gray. And I'm going to wipe it off again. Get it to another point. A lot of the paint is off. And I'm not really going to do that heavy of a gray on it. Good with the tentacles. This area, okay, get a little bit of gray on like the red parts. It gives it that look of transforming out of the black, gray, stony color, looking like it's natural flesh. And the thing about dry brushing is it will ruin your brush hella fast. Where you won't be able to use it on detail work. Like you can see where for mine it's just, yeah, it will focus on the fucking brush, but it won't focus on the mini. So you can see where the like bristles are just like folding out, floating out to where it wouldn't be good for detailed painting. But now I'm going to go ahead and paint the tentacles, doing what I did for the body, but black instead of gray, inverse on Now, the eye, I am going to use all the different red that I have standing by. It's a brighter red, and it should come up fairly bright. That you can see that it has a more fiery appeal. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and take a pinkish red and dry brush this red, give it a more three-dimensional look, a more natural, multicolored flesh. Now, I'm going to use this pixie dust pink. I haven't completed it, but you'll see just with this little bit of white, or white mixed with brown is color based, yellowish. It'll stick out. And I made a little mistake there. I can cover that up with a little bit of gray mixed with black. About the same there. And now I'm going to do what I was talking about first with the wash. And it's just basically going to make it look like there's gunk around the teeth. cut recording here, and we'll see a couple close-ups of the actual mini itself now, after I glue the base on, and yeah. Alright, got this final product, sound of it. Let you look at the front real quick, let it focus a little bit better if it can. I'll be able to. Top. So it has little highlights, wrinkles, and everything. I think it came out fairly good. Go ahead. Bar. Okay. So there's player minis. Now put it as a comparison. Owlbear. Comparison for that. Background, I'll put in a Baylor. This thing looks like sized up against it. All in all, fairly well. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope if you are painting a roper, little tutorial helped out. Amazing day, and if you enjoyed, please like,